Hey, this is Chris Wise, and welcome to my Wise Insight of the Day. And today I'm talking about making friends with fear. Now, typically in the world of personal development or just anything where conversations are about fear, typically I've been taught, typically I think we're taught that fear is something to overcome, fear is something to avoid, fear is something to power through. Um, And I would say that these perceptions of how we deal with fear are rooted in a place or coming from the paradigm of that the person is actually afraid of feeling fear. And there is a space that exists where you can make friends with fear to where you don't have to feel like fear is something to overcome or avoid or power through. And this space is accessible through very deeply loving yourself. When you very deeply love yourself, and I think one of the best ways to do that is through the I love you practice, where you say the words I love you to your own inner child. You say, I love you. I love you. To the one who's feeling fear, I love you. I love you. And you set the intention of I am going to be present with fear. I am just going to sit there and effing feel it. I'm just going to sit there and be with it. I am going to go into the heart of fear. And you can get to the place where when fear is coming your way, and as you have been infusing yourself with love, and you just say, fear, I welcome you. Welcome. I am fucking feeling you. And you just feel it. Now, it takes a very deep depth of self-love and having fused love into yourself to be able to do that. But you can build up to that, to where you just feel fear, to where you can just feel it. And in this process, you actually transform your relationship with fear. And then in the future, or when things are coming your way and you're feeling fear, as opposed to avoiding it or escaping it or being like, oh, I'm going to power through it, or I'm going to ignore it or deny it or pretend like you're fearless, pretend like, oh, I don't have any fear, right? That's denial. Fearless is a denial of fear. And so when we can actually get honest with ourselves and be like, no, we feel fear. It's a hard emotion to feel, but it's actually possible to transform your relationship with it. And just love yourself deeply enough, you can get into the space. There's a space that exists where it's like, I welcome you, fear. Another great visual to use when encountering fear, and I love this at the Matrix. Matrix 1 is one of my favorite movie. And at the end, after Neo realizes he's the one, and then he dives into Agent Smith, and then explodes him open. That's a great visual that you can use to when you're thinking about facing fear. Fear is coming up, you can feel it, and just visualize yourself diving into the heart of fear. Now, this is only going to work if you have loved yourself, if you have infused love into your body. And then it takes practice, it takes time. Every time that fear comes your way, it's an opportunity to more deeply create a new relationship with fear, one where you're no longer afraid. And then in the future, it can be, oh, here's fear, it's coming your way, let me feel it, and then let me take action anyway. Then it changes it where fear is no longer an obstacle to overcome. It's no longer something to power through and ignore and deny and pretend you're fearless. It's no longer something to avoid where you just go do another activity or go drink or food or sex or whatever the thing you may do to distract yourself from actually feeling fear. So let me know how this was. Put this into action. And I look forward to your comments and responses.